Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Brahma Bulletin. Thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. All right, this is going to be a great show today. We are going to be jam-packed full of information. We are going to be previewing the Gunslingers and the Arizona Wranglers game. We'll also be previewing the Brahmas and the Showboats game. And we'll be talking about a little bit about the previous Gunslingers game against the San Diego Strike Force. So joining me today is my good pal, XFLMikeG.
How's it going, everybody? I wasn't quite ready for that one
Oh,
yet, but
how
yeah,
you doing?
still working on my stuff here. Oh, I'm doing great. Let me just send this out real quick.
All right. So, like I said, we're going to be talking Showboats and Brahmas to start off with. So, let's get started with that. Right. All right. So, for the game for the Showboats and the Brahmas, we have the game day. Looks to be fairly well good as far as the weather. It's going to be Saturday, April the 6th at 2024 at 11 a.m. Central Time. It's going to be held at Simmons Bank and Liberty Stadium in Memphis, Tennessee. The weather report says it's going to be 64 degrees, partly cloudy with a 4% chance of rain with 7 mile per hour winds. So not too bad for tailgaters out there. Gambling line, if you are into gambling, the gambling line just hit not too long ago, and then according to DraftKings, the San Antonio Brahmas are 2-point favorites, and the over/under is 40. My three keys to victory. All right, first of all, I say that the Brahmas need to restore and maintain discipline. Now, they were penalized 7 times against the defenders and had 2 personal foul penalties, and they all happened the same drive. Thankfully, it did not amount to any points because eventually Jordan Ta'amu would throw that interception, but those penalties could have been very disastrous. I have no doubt that Coach Wade Phillips is going to correct that and correct that immediately. But I think we need to restore and maintain that discipline. My second key is the Brahmas need to improve on third down conversions. They were only 1 for 8 on third down against the defenders, but they were 3 for 4 on fourth down plays. But the third downs need to improve. And my final key is that Brahmas need to bull rush Case Cookus. Now, he was sacked 3 times against the Roughnecks last week, and the Brahmas did sack Jordan Ta'amu 4 times. So we need to continue that pressure on Case Cookus. All right, Mike, you there?
I'm here, but let me see. Hold on.
All right. Wonder if you had any insights to the game on your behalf. What are your keys to the victory? Yep, looks like we just lost Mike. All right, so we'll move on. All right, so we'll do a prediction accountability segment. So we had several viewers give our predictions, and I gave my predictions, and Mike gave his. So we are going to hold ourselves to accountability here. My first prediction last week was that Quentin Dormady will throw for a touchdown. Now, I knew that he was going to not be the starter, but I thought that Wade Phillips would do a rotating basis. So I predicted that Quentin Dormady will throw for a touchdown. And as we know, that was an epic failure there. And Mike said that it will be a defensive struggle. Now, I wouldn't say it was a defensive struggle because the Brahmas did put up 27 points. So for that, I would say that is yeah. All right, looks like Mike has rejoined us. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm attempting to share it out now, but it's being difficult. Here we go.
Not a problem.
Give
Not
me
a
a
problem.
minute. You can pull me off screen for a second.
All right. So we had a couple of viewers with their predictions. The first one was the defenders would win, but the Brahmas will cover the 6-point spread. Now, that was by Rick 8-Bit. And that was a. And the other prediction was take the spread, DC within -6. That was by John Murray. And that was a. Yeah. All right. My next prediction was that Destroying will make a 50-yard field goal. That was. Yeah, didn't do that one either. Mike said that the game would have more excitement with the offense. Chase Garbers will move the ball around. Well, I would say that is a. Yeah, the offense was definitely more exciting than it was last year. And the Chase Garbers did move the ball, so we'll give Mike some credit on that one. Now, the viewers, the first one was DC will win 28-17. That was by T.J. Helms. And that is a. Because obviously DC did not win. And the next prediction was DC wins, just straight up DC wins by Cody Walls and Donovan Smith. And that was a. So far, nobody's predictions are doing very well. All right. My next prediction was that the defense will force 2 turnovers. That is a. Yes, because we only forced 1 turnover. And Mike said that Brahmas will win by 6 points. Well, I would say that that is a. Although they did win by more than 6 points, so we'll give you credit on that one, Mike. The viewer said that DC will win by 50 points. That was by Jay Hutchins. That is a. Aw. And another one was DC wins by 14. That was by Keith Eckley. And that is a. Yes. All right. My last prediction was that the defense will record 3 sacks. Now, the defense recorded 4 sacks. So I specifically said 3. So because they got more than that, and I did not say more, I will give myself a on that. And the other viewer said DC would win by 9 points, and that was Terry Hart. And that is a. All
Okay,
right.
I'm ready.
So my bonus prediction, I said the attendance will be 20,000 plus despite being played on Easter Sunday at 11 o'clock during church services. And that is a. Mike said the attendance will be more than 12,000. That is a. Because that attendance was 13,000 plus. And the viewer said that the Brahmas will win in overtime, and that was by R.C. Woods. And that is a. All right. So right now, after week 1, I was 0 for 5. Mike was 2 for 2, and the viewers were 0 for 8. So I'm at a 0% win, and Mike is at 50% correct, and the viewers are at 0% as well. All right, Mike, now that you're back, what are your 3 keys to victory in the Brahmas Showboats game?
The 3 keys to victory for me is definitely going to be to stay aggressive offensively. AJ Smith keeps rolling, just keep going. I like the fact that last week they didn't play not to lose, that they were very aggressive and they came out right from the gate. Secondly, it's going to be contain Cookus. You gotta contain the guy. He's an all-pro for the USFL last season.
Mhm.
Got to keep him in check. I think we'll be able to handle their run game as well, but it's going to be a real test for our secondary if the front seven's not able to get to him. But our front seven is I would say the best in the league. I really would. I don't see anybody coming close to us right now. I mean, I know it's the first game of the week, first game of the season, but I think our defense could be the best in the UFL. My last kind of not really a key to victory, but kind of a little prediction. I think Donald De La Haye will hit 2 field goals, and that will definitely be the difference in our victory.
All right. Wow. Nice. All right. So speaking of game predictions, let's get into our game predictions. All right. So my first prediction is that Chase Garbers will throw for more than 2 touchdowns. My second prediction is that Destroying will make his first field goal. So he will have a field goal made in this game. My next prediction was the defense will allow under 50 yards of rushing to the Showboats. The Showboats will not have more than 50 yards rushing. And last, the defense will record 3+ sacks. This time I was 3+ instead of exactly 3. So I think they will get to Case Cookus more than 3 times. All right, Mike. So you gave one of your predictions. What are some other predictions you have for this game?
I think 4 players, 4 receivers or tight ends or running backs will have 4 or more catches this game. They're going to spread the ball out. We're going to utilize some of these weapons that we have because we have more than John Trey Kirkland. I love John Trey Kirkland. I think he'll probably end up leading the league in receptions this year or yardage. But we've got too many other guys that are out there. So at least 4 players will have 4 catches or more.
Nice.
Of course, I said destroying will get his opportunity, and he'll make 2 field goals this week. I'm going to go ahead and put a prediction on it. I don't like predicting scores, but I'm going to go ahead and put one on this one. 26-22 be a final in Memphis.
All right. Well, that was close to my final score prediction. I predicted that it was going to be a 24-12 Brahmas win. Brahmas win 24-12. All right. So for any of those who are watching, if you would like to give your predictions, go ahead and drop them in the comment section. I'll go ahead and make note of them. If you are unable to watch this live and you're watching on replay, then absolutely drop your comments either on Facebook or on YouTube or direct message us, and I'll record everybody's predictions, and let's see how you stack up against Mike and I. As of right now, you're probably doing a much better because I was 0 for 5 in my predictions. So
but you
good.
killed it. You killed it in the UFL predictions. Nobody was 4-0. Nobody on our staff was 4-0. We had 3 guys that I think it was at least 3 guys that were 3-1, and you were one of them. And the other one was Matt, and I think Jesse as well. But yeah, you were in there with them. So
nice. All right. I think that's going to wrap up our Brahmas section of the preview of between the Showboats and the Brahmas. So we're going to do a quick recap on the Gunslingers and Strike Force. So let's get to it. All right. So as we know, the San Antonio Gunslingers did face the San Diego Strike Force in the very first game in the IFL ever for the Gunslingers. It was on the road in San Diego on Monday night. So what happened? Well, the San Diego Strike Force escaped their bounty. They are now still wanted criminals by the Gunslingers. It was a very high-scoring game, very high-scoring. It came right down to the wire with just a couple seconds left. All right, my key takeaways in that game. First, I thought that Sam Casanova is the real deal. He started off just a little bit rusty. The accuracy was just a little bit off. The timing was just a slight off, but he heated up as the game went on. But as of right now, yeah, Sam Casanova is legit. My next key takeaway was that the running game was non-existent. Now, Sam did gain 64 of the 68 yards on the ground. So our running backs only had 4 yards of rushing. So I think that needs to improve. And my next takeaway was that there was just too many defensive breakdowns in pass coverage. San Diego's wide receivers were wide open many times, and we had our defenders just kind of looking a little lost and confused, and there was just too many busted coverages, and Nate Davis had wide open wide receivers. Now, our defense, on the positive, did only allow 19 yards of rushing. And it could be argued is because they didn't need to run the game because they had their way in the passing game, but positive, only 19 yards of rushing. So, Mike, did you have a chance to watch the game, and if so, what was your takeaway on it?
I caught the last quarter or so. Now I did go back and try to watch it a little bit, and I caught something interesting. If you go to the graphic, because it was put out by San Diego, they were the home team, so they were hosting and doing the play-by-play and stuff like that. The very first graphic they had on there said San Antonio Gunslingers' first game ever in the IFL. And then in parentheses it says and first loss.
Ooh.
I was like, that's kind of ballsy out there to throw that on the graphic, but we didn't see
Yes,
it, we didn't
saw that
catch
too.
it. You saw it. I
Yeah,
didn't catch it until I watched the replay. But yeah, I got to catch it and got to see some exciting plays going over the board and landing on the concrete, and then later on going head first into the boards. And remember, if you're not familiar with the IFL, there is no out of bounds. There's only the boards.
that's
So
right.
I liked him. The the way he was a veteran and he kept his eyes down the field. He wasn't looking to scramble all the time. If it was there, he would take it or if he would chuck it out of bounds. But he was very patient in the pocket and would only break the pocket when he saw there was a good chance to make some yardage. I like that.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, I thought it was great too. And so for my gunslinger of the week, well, I think it's kind of obvious for me, Sam Castronova. He did go 14 for 20 for 139 yards passing with 4 passing touchdowns and 4 rushing touchdowns. That's pretty impressive for your first game in the IFL, transitioning from NAL to the IFL. Like I said, he started off just a little bit rusty, I thought, but after that, it was just amazing. He was throwing the ball all over the place. He was hitting his targets in stride. He looked very comfortable and very poised. So yeah, he was absolutely is my gunslinger of the week.
Definitely agreed, 100%.
All right. So we will now move on to our preview of the Wranglers and Gunslingers game coming up. So let's do it. All right. So game day for the Gunslingers and the Northern Arizona Wranglers. It's going to be held Saturday, April 6th, 2024 at 6:05 p.m. Central Time at the Freeman Coliseum here in San Antonio, Texas. This is our home opener, our very first home game in the IFL. Weather report says it's going to be 76 degrees, little overcast with a 12% chance of rain and 16-mile-per-hour winds. Now, I'm not sure if the Freeman Coliseum permits tailgating. I don't think so. Do you know, Mike, if they allow tailgating?
We never got a definitive answer, so we're going to go and play it safe and say there's no tailgating until we
Okay.
get official word. We don't want to put that out there, but I
Okay.
do know that they're handing out, I believe, 2,000 cowbells and
Yes.
1,000 rally towels for the first 1,000 and 2,000 people that come into the Freeman Coliseum.
Yes, absolutely. So get there early so you can get your towels and cowbells. And if you are in the parking lot as a unofficial gathering of friends, the weather should be cooperative, hopefully. Right.
Yeah,
So
we definitely need to get with them and ask. It's probably not Freeman. It's definitely not the Gunslingers. I don't know if it's Freeman or the city of San Antonio that manages that, and we need to get with them and let us let her pregame a little bit.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. So the gambling line for this game is Northern Arizona Wranglers are 2.5 point favorites, and the over under is 97.5. I guess they must have saw that Strike Force Gunslingers game and saw that, yeah, San Antonio can put up some serious numbers. So they're expecting almost 100 points being scored this game.
Oh yeah, I mean they got a chip on their shoulder after losing that game in that fashion, and now it's like it was like a wake up call. I mean, when you have a good team, sometimes you're not challenged initially,
Hmm.
and you could knock one team down, and then you're on to the next, and you don't like Coach Manos was saying on his podcast yesterday. It gives them a chance to focus on the things they can fix. If you get that win at the last second, oh, it's on to the next game, and you're not working on the things you need to work on. So it was good. It stings that it was a loss, but
Right.
it'll wake up the team and be like, okay, this is what we need to do. Because like I said, when you assemble a talented team, they don't know their full potential quite yet.
Right.
And to get that L this early in the season, I think it's dangerous for the rest of the IFL. I think the San Antonio Gunslingers are here.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, let's get that single loss we're going to get out of the way, get it over with, and let's go. All right. So we'll do our prediction accountability, see how we did with our predictions from last week. And so my first prediction was that Sam Castronova will throw for 4 touchdowns. I would say that was a big, big yes, because Sam Castronova did throw for 4 touchdowns. Mike, you said that he will throw for more than 3 touchdowns. Well, you get a because, yes, he did throw for more than 3 touchdowns. The viewers said that Gunslingers will win. That was Alex McSwain. Unfortunately, that is a yeah, sorry. My next prediction was that Zach Brown will record 2 sacks. That is a yes, because we did not sack the quarterback at all. So we had 0 sacks in that game. The viewers, RC Wood said the Gunslingers will win by 10. That is a yeah, we did not win. My next prediction was that Tali Rashad will catch 2 touchdowns. Well, he caught 1, so that is a yeah. And Mike, you were one up to me, and you said that he would catch 3 touchdowns. That is a yeah. And the viewer said that Gunslingers will win. That was Wheeling Miners, and that is a. And my next prediction was that Gunslingers will force 1 turnover. That is a because we did not force 1 single turnover. And Mike, again, you one upped me and said they will force more than 1 turnover. That is a yeah. So for week 1, I was right 1 time, wrong 3 times. So I have a 25% accuracy with my predictions. Mike, you were 1 right, 2 wrong. So that's a 33% correct. And the viewers were 0 for 3, and they have a 0% accuracy. So pretty brutal when it comes to our predictions.
Yeah, it's tough, especially with the IFL, and I'll be honest, it's a little bit of an unknown to me. I'm still working my way, getting familiar with it in the league, and I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what the Gunslingers will do. But yeah, it's going to be rough for a little while, so bear with me.
Yes, it's all in good fun. Like you said, we're both learning this. We're both feeling out the IFL, and heck, we're even feeling out the UFL because it's a brand new league there with a lot of new players. So our predictions will get better as we get along. But as of right now, we're kind of struggling. All right, so let's move on to my 3 keys to victory. My first key is that the Gunslingers defense needs to tighten things up. We just said it in the review of last week's game that there was just too many blown coverages against San Diego. Their wide receivers were way too open, and Wranglers wide receiver. I don't know if I will pronounce his name right, but it's Arisha McCorker. He is dangerous. He had those 2 kickoff returns in the first game, and then the last game against the Tucson Sugar Skulls, he did catch 2 touchdowns. So he could be very dangerous, and he could torch our defense if we play like we did last week against the Strike Force. So defense needs to tighten up. I have absolute confidence that Coach Manaz has got that corrected.
Definitely.
My next key is that the running game needs to get going. Now, Sam Casanova, he rushed for, like I said, 64 of the 68 yards that we gained. I mean, we only gained 4 yards of rushing off of our running backs. I think that needs to improve. We need to establish a rushing game to at least keep the defenders honest, so they're not pinning their ears back and just rushing our quarterback and playing off the receivers. So let's keep them honest and let's get a running game started, and not just Sam. I mean, we need to get our running back going. We need Keyshawn Harper to run the ball. And my next key is that Sam Casanova is legit and he needs to continue because he was on fire. He passed for those 4 touchdowns and ran for 4 more, and he needs to continue this at least until our defense steps up and does their part. So, Mike, what are your keys to a Gunslinger's victory?
My first key is going to be is Sam Castronova, of course. I mean, right now he is definitely the leader. Until that run game gets established, he's going to have to carry the load. I see him getting 5 touchdowns this week. A combination of running or passing. That's where I think he's going. Of course, our defense will tighten up this week. I do see. I just feel like Tristan Vance is due. I think he's due for something. I think he'll get a turnover or make some big plays. I mean, it seemed like he was on a lot of tackles.
Yes.
On a lot of tackles. He was the first guy that we had on our first live show. So if he has a big game, that's an excuse to bring him back on.
Absolutely.
And Coach Manas will not kick to McCorker if he gets. He's just. It's not going to happen.
Absolutely.
So
not.
Definitely keep the ball out of his hands if we can.
Yes, sir. All right. I think those are pretty good keys to us securing our first victory in the IFL. All right. Let's get into some game predictions. So my first prediction is that Sam Castronova will continue his amazing play, and he will again throw for more than 4 touchdowns. Not just 4, but more than 4 touchdowns. My next prediction is the defense will force 1 turnover. We will get that turnover this week. And I say that Austin Upshaw will catch 1 touchdown. You saw against the Strike Force, he seemed to be Sam's favorite target. He did catch the most passes. He caught the team leading 5 catches. So I think that with that connection that they have established, that will just result in Austin Upshaw getting into the end zone. And my last prediction, I think the Gunslingers will kick a deuce. They were trying their tails off against San Diego. They were kicking it into the end zone. I mean, he was missing it, but not too far. But yeah, it was just missing over and over and over. You can tell that they were trying for that deuce. So with all that effort that they made against San Diego, I think it's going to be effective, and they will finally convert and make a deuce. Mike, what is your Nostradamus predictions?
Well, I kind of gave them away a little bit because they are the keys to victory that we gave a minute ago. Sam Castronova, 5+ touchdowns for sure. That he's going to have to get that done if we're going to get that W. Again, our defense is going to have to create turnovers and show their will to the Wranglers. And then, of course, not kicking to McCorker. We keep the ball out of his hands. We should fare very well. I think that I underestimated San Diego a little bit last week. I'm afraid of doing the same thing with Northern Arizona, but I think we got this one. I feel very confident.
Okay. Excellent. Any other predictions? Your next one.
If I had to put a prediction on the score, I'm going to say, I wonder what our record is at home. I think we break a scoring record at home, but 60+ points, and we're going to surrender less than 40.
Okay. Well, I was very, very shy on this week. I know that last week I predicted the Gunslingers will score 60 points, and I think that was probably laughed and scoffed at because it was our first game against a pretty good San Diego squad. And wow, I was off by just 1 point. So it's kind of weird that this week I'm only doing 36-24. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lower scoring game, but I still say it's going to be a Gunslingers victory. All right. So, hi, Marcus.
Hey, Marcus.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. If you have a prediction for either games, go ahead and drop a comment, and I'll write it down and see how you do against us. All right. So that is our predictions for the Arizona Northern Arizona Wranglers and the San Diego or San Antonio. God, I got San Diego on the mind. Whew, I don't know why. All right. So, so do you have any thoughts, Mike, about what we've talked about so far about the Brahmas and the Gunslingers? Any parting pearls of wisdom?
Not so much pearls of wisdom, but little observations. That first gambler game is supposed to. I'm sorry, the first gunslinger game. I don't know where that came from. In the Freeman Coliseum, it's supposed to be a whiteout, so I need to get me some gear. I absolutely loved the white on white that we played in San Diego. I hope we play that in those more. I love those uniforms. I need to get me a white jersey, and I don't wear white, but I need to get me a white jersey.
Oh, nice, nice. Ah, okay.
Uh, I'll
DeMarcus.
handle that one here in a second, but now I wanted to make an observation as well. You know, I keep track of all the numbers and stuff. Guess how many YouTube viewers the Gunslinger San Diego game had?
Mm, I thought there was 1.8 thousand, if I'm not mistaken.
That at one point when they were live was 1.8 overall views of that game. And I don't know if it's some kind of typo. I don't know if they added the numbers from caffeine in or how that works, but it was 35K.
Nice.
That's outstanding for an IFL game.
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
have to track it, but if it's not a mistake, that's outstanding for an
Hmm.
IFL game.
All right. So DeMarcus wants to know, will the Brahmas be able to run against Memphis?
I think so. I think McFarland will pick up where he left off, both running and receiving. I'm not too familiar with the front seven of Memphis, but what I saw against Houston, I think that San Antonio will continue to do well just by keeping them off balance and keeping them off script and being able to run when they want, as opposed to running unexpected downs.
Right. Now, you're looking at Memphis's roster, they got a pretty legit roster. I mean, there are some pretty recognizable names up and down on both sides of the ball. So I think their defense is legit, but I do think that our bulldozers will be up to the challenge, and they will open up some holes for McFarland.
Yeah, DeFilippo, who took over that team, left that defense intact, and I watched them last year, and they had a pretty good defense. So it'll be interesting to see this. I think this will be the real test of the XFL versus the USFL. You forget
Hmm.
all those other games. This to me is the game of the week. This is where it's going to be at.
That's right. Hey, somebody's O has got to go. Somebody's O has got to go. Somebody's O has got to go. But yeah, I think it's going to be the game of the week there as well too. You got two defensive stalwarts. Because I mean, you looked at the Showboats and Roughnecks game, and boy, the Roughnecks could not do anything. Now it could be they're maybe just not that good, or it could be the Showboats are that good, or maybe it's a combination of both. But yeah, the Roughnecks had a rough time against the Showboats, and yeah, I think that all the yards that we will get are going to be very hard earned. It's going to be a grind out, sluggish type of game. It's going to be a defensive. I think it's going to be a defensive struggle.
I don't know. I mean, I could see it easily going that way, but I'm hoping for a shootout. Well, shootout for the Brahmas and target practice.
Nice. All right. Well, I think that just does it for our show. Nice and quick. I think we kind of covered the Brahmas and the Showboats really well. Oh, well, Demarcus wants to know as well. All right. He thinks that the XFL was behind on O line last week and wonders whose line will get on track soon. Very good question.
I think the real test. We'll know week 3. Because there's no preseason games and teams kind of that whole uh, not playing to not lose. They do it so they can evaluate their guys and not give away too much of their offensive schemes and defensive schemes. But week 3 will be the real test. So by
Mhm.
then, all those lines will be who they are, and we'll find out then.
Yes.
Hey,
Hi, what's
Rick.
going on, Rick? How you doing today? All right. And Marcus is like, yeah, he was thinking the same thing. Week 3,
Great
and
minds.
yeah, great minds. I was saying the same thing. Is that week 3 we should have a little bit better idea of how each team is, because, like you said, there is no preseason games. There really is no OTAs or anything like that, and everything was very condensed in this
Yeah.
off season. I mean, it was we didn't even know if there was going to be any teams. We didn't know which teams were there. We didn't know the players or anything. I thought for the whole time that this merger was not going to happen until next year, and that this year we would have continued, you know, the status quo. XFL was doing their thing, the USFL would do their thing, but they merged, and it was kind of put together really quick. So, yeah, I can see why the offensive line, and everybody complains about their team's offensive lines. It doesn't matter which team that you root for. Everybody says offensive line stinks. So I think they're always going to be kind of behind the 8 ball. But week 3, we'll see it better. We'll see it better. All right. Rick says that he loves how the Brahmas jumped up odds quick, and I think they are there to stay. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think I've mentioned on this podcast and other podcasts, I don't like the disrespect that San Antonio's getting.
Right.
We're here to play now. What's
Yes,
up?
absolutely. And Demarcus, yep, says that it seems to be the trend with all spring football. Even harkening back to the old AAF days. Yeah, takes about 3 games to get into game rhythm and all that good stuff. So we'll see how our offensive line. But so far, I think our offensive line was looking pretty good. I mean, we only gave up the 1 sack, and Chase Garbage did not really have to run around too often. Uh,
It was
offense
it was
did
definitely an improvement from last year. All the injuries that we had, and Jack Cohn running for his life.
Oh,
Poor
jeez.
guy's as having the yips, but
Right.
the improvement in line play is already clearly evident, and for the San
Yes.
Antonio Brahmas.
Yes. And Rick, he points out that some of the teams have all new offensive line.
Yep,
That's
definitely.
an excellent point. Yeah, some teams have completely new offensive line, and you got to have time to get that synergy going, and knowing the playbooks and all that. So, yeah, absolutely, that's a very good point. Which is why I was kind of impressed that our offensive line did as well, because DC, they have a legit defense.
Yep,
Greg Williams, love him or hate him. Me personally, I can't stand the guy. That harkens back to my Vikings fandom when that whole bounty
down the
game with
gate.
the Saints. So I hated the guy ever since. But yeah, I mean, he's known for a pretty aggressive blitzing scheme, and his defenses are very aggressive, and we held up very well against
Yeah,
that. All right.
yeah.
So are you going to be watching the game at home, or are you going to any of the watch parties?
For the Brahma game, I unfortunately will be at work.
Oh, boo.
So I'll be keeping an eye on it while I can, and then as soon as I get off, I'll rewatch it. By the time I get off, the second game will be halfway through, so I'll watch the rest of that game and then continue to watch the Brahma game afterwards. But Sunday, I'll be able to watch both of them.
Oh,
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for me, And then actually, no, I take that back. The Gunslinger game is Saturday as well.
Saturday,
So I
6:05.
will get off of work and then go to the Gunslinger game, and then when I get off the tomorrow Sunday, then I'll be able to watch in whole the Brahmas game.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I will see you at the Gunslingers game on Freeman Coliseum.
Yes, sir.
All
Looking
right.
forward
Looking
to
forward
that.
to that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think that just about does it for today's episode of the Brahma Bulletin and Chewing the Cud with my buddy XFL Mike G. Had a great time tonight. It was nice and quick and sweet. Look forward to seeing both games, the Brahmas and the Showboats, which is Saturday at 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time, and that's being televised on ESPN, if I'm not mistaken. Right.
Yep, ESPN.
And then you can turn around after you watch the Brahmas game, turn around and head out to the Freeman Coliseum to watch the Gunslingers take on the Northern Arizona Wranglers at 6:05 p.m. Central Time. Like I said, at the Freeman Coliseum, you can watch it on YouTube and you can watch it on Caffeine TV. But we prefer that you are there in person. The first was 2,000 fans get the cowbells, and the first 1,000 fans gets the
rally
rally towel. Yeah, the
I want
terrible
one of those.
Homer Hanky type thing.
I think I'm going to call my connections and put some aside for me.
That's right.
I don't really have connections. I'm kidding. I don't really know anybody like that, but I'm going to pretend like I do.
Oh, goodness. And thank you all for watching, and I greatly appreciate it. And if you get a chance, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff on YouTube and Facebook, and follow us. And also check out AlternativeFootballNetwork.com. That is the site to go. Bookmark it on your page, make it your homepage, if you will. We got all kinds of great articles from our contributors and partners. We have amazing partners. You see all kinds of podcasts in there. You got the UFL Insiders podcast. You got this one here, Horns Forward. We got all kinds of partners. Check it out, AlternativeFootballNetwork.com. All right, Mike, you have anything else to say before we step on out of here?
I'm just excited for this weekend. You know, the San Antonio versus Memphis is going to be a great game, and the Gunslingers home opener is going to be a great game as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, that does it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I think it's time for this Brahma to be put out to pasture, at least until the X episode. Until then, San Antonio, let's keep our horns forward and our guns up. Good night.